How are we feeling about the Victoria's Secret fashion show this year? Is the inclusion of women in larger size bodies tokenism, or is it real change within the organisation? And how is it making you feel? Is it all a little too late? Does it not even register and you're not even paying attention? What does it strike up in you? Does it make you angry? Does it make you happy? Does it make you excited? Leave me a comment. I would love to know. Prior to the show's being cancelled in 2019, with some pretty heavy hitting stuff happening at the top of the corporate ladder within the organisation, you know, it was run by overwhelmingly white men with a really narrow beauty paradigm. And this led to the shows and the brand and the availability of the product being culturally very much about fantasy and exclusion as opposed to broad representation. I think it'll be really curious to see how the campaigns roll out across the board. So is this inclusivity piece just happening for the show, or are we going to see this roll out across the whole campaign? So in-store, online, we're going to see that true representation of body shapes and sizes across the board and all of the touch points of the campaign. When I say all body shapes and sizes, you know, there was 50 something women in the show and there was just a trickle of women in larger size bodies, but there was still also a real gap between your traditional very, very thin models through to women in larger size bodies. There was kind of no real in between. I think any change is good change, particularly in the body image space. As someone who worked in the corporate beauty space for a very long time, change is so hard to make, particularly when the issues are so systemic. It takes a huge changing of the guard to really be able to make some significant change culturally. So hopefully there's some really amazing women behind the scenes now within the organisation, and the business is really going to put their money where their mouth is with the product, particularly in the product being readily available across all of their stores, across all of the globe, and not just in a select number of stores in their bigger spaces where they can hold the stock. Something else I'd like to see in future shows and campaigns is the women in larger size bodies not so covered up. I'd love to see some more skin. And I'd be really curious to know what the thought process was behind the styling of the show and how these particular outfits were put together. I'd love to be a fly on the wall for those conversations to know what the driving force behind this was.